Crime aficionados will salivate over my next guest book. Let's welcome Caroline Cleveland, author of When Cicadas Cry, and congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very excited. This is my first novel to be published, and it's a strange and wondrous place to be.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. But you have an illustrious career as an attorney.
I do.
So would you say that being an attorney has sort of helped you with some of the tools to build your story?
Absolutely. 30 years of experience. I work with a lot of public entities, cities, counties, a lot of law enforcement, and you get a front row seat to some backroom meetings.
Yeah.
You get to see not only what happens, but why and how it happens, and a little bit about how the world works. I don't think I could have written this book in my 30s. It takes a little bit of life experience.
Yeah, a little bit of wisdom that comes along with it, right? And couldn't have come out at a better year When Cicadas Cry, because we're going to be seeing that two broods of cicadas emerge.
One that comes every 17 years, and another that's brood 19, and then brood 13 that comes every 13 years will also be at the same time. The last time that happened, Thomas Jefferson was in the White House, so it's sort of a cicada palooza.
Yeah, it is. Was that planned?
No, I had no idea, because of course I didn't know when the book would be finished or published or anything else. I'm just choosing to see it as a welcoming of the highest order.
Just a total serendipity. So please tell us, what is in those pages?
Well, When Cicadas Cry is a Southern legal thriller. It's a Low Country thriller. It is set in Walterboro and Edisto Beach. It takes place in 2017 in the aftermath of the Mother Emanuel massacre and the police shooting of Walter Scott. So racial tensions were at an all-time high, and that's sort of the backdrop for our story. And the novel opens with a racially charged, high-profile murder. A white woman has been found murdered in a small church, bludgeoned to death with an altar cross. A young black man is kneeling over her, covered in blood, fresh scratches on his arms, and he insists that he's innocent. Of course, our protagonist takes the case, soon finds himself facing not only a formidable solicitor, but insidious racism that faces his client as well. Meanwhile, the protagonist investigator and seemingly perpetual fiance is opening a cold case, a decades-old cold case on Edisto Beach. 2 teenage girls were murdered there in 1983, and their case is never solved. So as these two different stories start to come together and converge, they see some odd similarities and start to wonder, could there be a connection?
Yes.
One thing they definitely know for sure is somebody in this sleepy little town is hiding an old, long-buried secret, but what they have not figured out is that a killer has infiltrated their inner circle and would kill again to keep those secrets buried.
And they can't tell, they just don't know.
Only you know. There are scattered chapters throughout the book in the first person where the killer talks to you directly. In these little,
that just gave me goosebumps.
Good. You have these little sidebars where the other characters can't hear.
Oh, wow. So you're really on the inside, you're almost inside their head.
Yeah.
You know, and we're talking about what a small town Walterboro still is, but when you were growing up there, it was even smaller.
I-95 hadn't been finished when we got there, so we're just a spot in the road.
But a lot has happened in that area of South Carolina, as we know. I mean, with the Murdaugh trial taking place in that same area. But we're seeing a lot of these stories, you know, they say the truth sometimes is stranger than fiction, but, you know, with Robert Durst and the Jinx and how crimes were committed years ago, could never find enough evidence to hang him on it until he slips up later down the road. But that, again, it plays out over and over again, but the way you've laid everything out for the reader, it sounds like a really unique, fascinating read.
It is, and when you're writing a story in contemporary times, you have to deal with cell phones, surveillance camera, DNA testing, all sorts of things that weren't in the older stories, so that helped make this fun for me. I have a 1983 cold case where we don't have that kind of data, but now in our current case we definitely do, so I got some of the best of both worlds in there.
Does it make it easier or more complicated having those technological advances?
Well, it depends on whether or not you want to catch the bad guy. It's easy, but if you want to hide a body, it's better not to have all of that.
Yeah, that is true, as we've learned many times over.
And speaking of the Murdaugh case.
Yeah, exactly, speaking of the Murdaugh case. All right, so you've got some events coming up. Buxton Books.
Yes, May 7th is our pub date, but she got permission to have our first launch party the night before, May 6th, Monday, May 6th. It will be at the Charleston Visitor Center.
Yes.
6 o'clock, doors open at 5:30, and then the following night there's another launch party in Somerville.
Main Street Reads.
Main Street Reads at 6 p.m. and then Sunday for second Sunday signing during the big King Street event. So it's going to be an exciting week.
That's fantastic. Now, this is your first, but you're already working on some other things.
I am, and one of them is a potential sequel to this, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay, and another one is more of a
psychological thriller.
Yeah. Okay, all right, lots of things to read for the summer, including this one, so put this on your list, everybody. Thank you so much, Caroline, for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me. This
again.
has been great. I really appreciate it.
We're back after this.